Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this round here for ERC. Hopefully, all the audio is good. I need to just quickly share this stream. Share the stream somewhere. Yep, still haven't quite done yet. Get this stream shared out. Has that been shared? So while we are waiting, the drivers have not yet. We're just waiting for players at this moment in time. I don't exactly know what's going on at this moment in time. Players, interesting one. I don't know why it's not letting me have access to the spectator menu. That's very strange. Have I put myself in a car by accident? Or am I just for some reason looking at pit lane? I'm going to restart this game real quick. I don't know why it's been like that. Join, sorry about that. I just had to reset the game. EA. Game is being a little bit strange. I don't know why. Just have to go and reset real quick. To reload again. Love technical difficulties for everything because it always happens for some odd reason. Right. So I'm just waiting for the game to eventually want to load. Thank you very much, game. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steel Flame. We're back to the lobby again. Hopefully this all wants to work with me. As I say, I'm doing this is a bit of testing really with this as a lobby thing for me, because in uni I wasn't sure whether or not this would actually be supported actually in terms of the actual connection. I really hope it wants to connect. For some reason it's taking a while. One-shot qualifying, that would explain to me why exactly that wasn't what I thought it was. Okay, as I say, that'll be an interesting one to see how that all plays out. Wonder why it's on one-shot qualifying and not anything else. That's why I didn't have control of that, see anything. That's probably why. So a lot of people have we're just at the end of this one-shot quality, so we're not going to see a lot of everything that is going on. It is Rank who is fastest in this session, it says. I think he is in the Ferrari. He has finished. Yep, it's a Ferrari 1-2 in this one-shot qualifying for the two Ferraris. I'll see how it all goes at EXO. I think I'm okay for now. As I say, it looks like the connection is holding on for the moment. Rank is from the one-shot qualifying. It is Rank who's on pole position. Bluntblade in the other Ferrari is in P2. It is Indivigo P3 for the Haas team, with Panda in P4 for Aston Martin, Liam in P5 with Shaggy in P6, PDMB is in P7, Bruno Lopez is in P8, Easton is in 9th, with Bird in 10th. Then we have Steel, Bull, Scartrix, Rookie License, MCL, Nathan, Reed and EXO with no times on the board, with EXO being disqualified from the one-shot qualifying session. So 53 laps of this Italian Grand Prix to come, a very historic track when it comes to Formula 1 racing in terms of everything. as we're now waiting for the drivers to ready up for, I believe this is the race. 53 laps ahead of the drivers. And on screen currently at the moment is the tyre selection the drivers may well be going on to. I did have a brief look at some of these drivers earlier on when I was having a good old look and seeing at some of the pace that some of these drivers could do, and it looks like, as I say, Easton is a driver potentially to look at. He's a little bit lower down the field, but obviously this track is very much a slipstream track, and it'll be very interesting to see how they all get on with that. ERS also being something you do have to manage very carefully in terms of your deployment, because a lot of straights and a lot of corners mean you do not get your ERS back when you lose it. Let's say those in the chat, welcome to those. Normally this would be an international pilots channel, but I had a few difficulties with getting myself into that particular account beforehand with the short time span I had to try and get in. It was being a pain. So just for this one round, it will be on my channel, and it will be available for the editors afterwards on my YouTube as well. I will send a link to that afterwards. Welcome, as I say, to Blunt Blade and MCL, who are currently in the chat. Hopefully you do well tonight. Blunt obviously in second place in the grid, and then obviously in third, not third, I believe MCL did not qualify, but I do know that MCL does have a lot of pace. So 18 drivers around the Internationale Monza. I believe I almost got that pronunciation right. I could be completely wrong. Who knows? But as I say, I'm looking forward to seeing how these drivers do get on. Ferrari obviously will, Blunt Blade and Rank will want to do well here because of the Ferrari name. The Tifosi will be cheering them on and giving them a little bit of extra pressure that they might not potentially would have wanted, but they will have to see how they soak up with that pressure. And who do I see as like my potential favourites for top 3 here? I think my top 3 for this is going to be Easton, who's currently in P9. I'm going to tout him for victory here. I'm going to go with Scartrix, well, MCL in second, and we're going to go Nathan in third. People that I think may cause a surprise in this race could be the likes of Exo, who's currently down in 18th. Normally doesn't like to qualify, likes to prove what he can do and get the Driver of the Day award as he goes through. Guaranteed he can get himself that every single week. Names obviously that I have seen before, I've not actually seen before racing, and could surprise me that I do know have raced in this series, this particular championship for a while, or this on a Sunday, is Bruno. I've not seen him race before, but I do know he is very quick as a driver. Liam, obviously, like we've seen before, Rank was very impressive in the International Paddock Open. He did quite well for ERC, alongside Innovate Eagle, who did very well as well in that one. PDMB, he likewise just needs a little bit of luck, because the last time I think I saw him he was having a few issues around Australia. Last time I saw him, I think that was because he was having some wheel issues, or he was or setup issues, I do believe. But as I say, Easton and the likes of MCL will be making their way up through the grid and hoping to make up as much ground as they can possibly make up in the early laps, or simply sit behind and use the DRS, because that will also be very helpful in terms of that. Rank at the moment, looking at the tyres that they could potentially be starting on, we have all the cars in the grid now. Looks like the cars will be getting underway now. So let's go and have a look at the tyres. It is going to be, Rank is on the medium compound tyres, his teammate Blunt is on the softs, right behind. So 2 Ferraris on the front row, Innovate Eagle and the Haas in third is on mediums. Panda and the Aston Martin in fourth is on mediums. Liam Hardman and the Alpha Tauri is on the hard compound tyres. Rookie, see you in the chat there. Shaggy in P6 in the medium compound tyres in the Mercedes, PDMB in the Red Bull in the on the mediums, Bruno Lopez in the Alfa Romeo is on the softs, Easton in 9th on the mediums, ERC Bird in 10th is on the mediums, Steele in 11th in the second of the two Mercedes cars is on softs, the same as ERC Bull in McLaren, who's also on softs. Scartrix on soft mediums in the Alpine. Rookie license in P14 in the Williams, who's got himself disqualified on the formation lap, so he's going to have some fun with cold tyres. MCL in P15 in the second Alpine. Then Nathan in 16th in the second Haas on the on mediums. Reed in 17th in the softs, and EXO at the back is on the soft compound tyres. Underfueled as well, I have noticed from EXO. No one else looks like they seem to have done that for this current moment in time. So let's see how these drivers get on as we head down towards Parabolica. It got renamed, but I will always call it Parabolica for the final part of this formation lap, as we head through towards the start of the race, and we'll see how everyone gets on. So here we go. Rank forms up on the grid here. You can see Ricky's car on the grid. The one car of shame there on the grid, as you see, from Ricky, or as I say, just Ricky things. As we are now waiting for the cars to form up on the grid, let's see how it's all gonna go. Rank, as I say, it's formed up on the grid. Bluntblade alongside him on the front row. I expect Bluntblade to get a slightly better start than Rank, because soft tyres will be quicker to get up to temperature than what the mediums will. As everyone is formed up, we're just waiting for the lights to come on here in Monza. The lights are indeed on. 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Monza for the Masters, and it's lights out, and away we go. Bluntblade has been able to get himself alongside, and he's going to take the lead as they go using ERS to get himself past towards turn number 1. Almost 3 wide, a little bit further back, as it's a little bit of a, oh, there's a bit of contact there with Bluntblade. He's been spun half spun round. He's lost a few positions, but he has remained, but he's going to be 3 wide now between PDMB and Panda. Panda making the position on PDMB. But PDMB coming back around the outside of Curva Grande and towards the end of the first sector, with Panda keeping hold of the position, but it's going to be PDMB for the inside. Little bit of lag off of the car there as he heads through, and it's going to be PDMB. He keeps hold of the move. Easton meanwhile is making his way through. Bluntblade is down another 2 positions. He's about to lose yet another one to ERC Bull here, potentially, but Bulls has to stay behind for now. There's a bit of a gap up front. Rank has got a 1.4 second gap to Innova Eagle, who's currently hassling the back of Liam Hardman in the Alpha Tauri. Great start from him, as it looks like we've got Panda. Looks like Bluntblade is looking up the inside of Bruno Lopez. He's managed to make it stick. There's been contact as Bluntblade has a moment at Ascari. And it's a big moment for the Ferrari driver, who's down to P12, so not an ideal start for him as Nathan and Scartrix go to battle just ahead of him. Now is Nathan looking at the inside in the Haas of the Alpine of Scartrix. Can he do anything as he comes out of this final corner? A little bit of the battery usage for Nathan here as Scartrix goes to, will he defend the inside line, or does he not choose to do so? Looks like he's choosing to use a little bit of battery at this moment in time. No, he's not, but he is a little bit lower on fuel. He has had to use up half of his battery percentage on lap number 1. Meanwhile, Bruno Lopez has been passed by ERC Bird just ahead, as he has a little bit of a moment. This is going to allow Scartrix to get back ahead potentially here as they go towards Curva Grande. Let's see if he's going to use the battery here as PDMB clears Shaggy just a little bit further up. Scartrix around the outside gets the move done on Bruno Lopez as PDMB and Innova Eagle go side by side. Let's see, as PDMB I think has been spun or had an incident as he come out the first sector, so not ideal for him. Liam Hardman is meanwhile is putting pressure at the front on Innova Eagle and is looking to try and see if he can get himself past in this next zone, which DRS will be enabled on next lap around, as we've got Panda and Shaggy. Panda hassling the back of Shaggy's Mercedes in the Aston Martin. Can he go down the inside as he head into Ascari? It's going to be moved done and it's wide from Shaggy's. It's going to be a chance for Easton. Yes it is. There's contact. I'm not sure if anyone has damage off of that, but it looks like there's 2 cars out. That's Bruno Lopez and Scartrix. We have a virtual safety car deployed. Shaggy and Bo, I think it was Shaggy and someone else, who picked up a 5-second penalty for contact and all of that. And it's unfortunate I think some drivers potentially could have damage, but it's only resulted in a VSC. As Bruno Lopez is out of this Grand Prix, and I think Scartrix was also caught up in that as well. Zinat Eagle is into the pits on lap number 1 for a new set of tyres and potentially maybe for something to do with damage, who knows. As we head through, Bruno Lopez, not an ideal race for him. His race over after just 2 laps in this Grand Prix. No change of tyres for Zinat Eagle. He goes on to soft compound tyres. The full safety car has now been deployed, so that is now going to reduce the gap that Rank has massively, down to pretty much nothing. So that was an interesting start, let's just say that much. A lot of stuff going on. That initial run, obviously, there will be questions raised about. It is very easy to, some of the curbs around here you do not want to touch, because if you touch some of these curbs, then you will have issues with some of these particular corners, because the corners will bite back. And that very much has shown, as I say, especially on the exit of Ascari, because it's very easy to make mistakes on that particular part. Fortunately for Scartrix as well, who did very well in our part. We actually seen him in as well. As the cars are now under full safety car conditions, which means I feel like the likes of Liam here could be in a little bit of trouble because of this strategy. I mean, this has kind of put his strategy a little bit in the concerns here, as he has decided to opt to box on lap number 3. The safety car will probably stay out for around about 3 laps or so, as Panda has obviously opted to stay out as well. Rank has opted to stay out as well. But I should say Bluntblade a little bit, who is still on his soft compound tyres, as he has come out. He's still back. He's back in P7 now, Bluntblade, after his somewhat rocky start and a little bit of contact with the back, with Nathan hitting the back of his car towards turn number 1. Not quite as bad as we saw earlier on the week with the Manager Series, where there was a massive harpoon moment from someone into turn 1. As Zinat Eagle has gone to the pits on the I think he's probably going to go on to another set of tyres, I think another set of mediums, because I don't know if he meant to go on to softs. No, I don't think that was the case. Zinat Eagle's now down to 14th. And it wasn't Nathan actually, there was a little bit of contact between Eagle and Bluntblade, which we'll have to see if that results in any tickets afterwards. But as I say, field is all bunched up now. We'll probably have 3 laps under safety car. I believe we've had 2 of them already. We'll probably have 1 more, guaranteeing that everyone does eventually catch up. Scartrix has now left the lobby as well. Unfortunate for Scartrix in the Alpine. A little bit of it, as I say, not his day to day. Obviously, his race over after just 2 laps in this Grand Prix, and he will be somewhat disappointed by that. Not pleased with that. 1 second, just need to quickly deal with something. That's all been sorted. Okay, back to the action. We're still under safety car at this moment in time, waiting for everyone to carry on with the race going on. Hopefully everyone in the chat is doing well, even until the ERC guys who obviously have very kindly joined me. Obviously this is not, as I say, on the usual channel. We could potentially have Andrew later on, but as I say, he is currently a little bit under the weather, so fair play to him if he decides not to, because obviously, yeah. we're just waiting for everyone to hang on, I think, as I say. Safety car is in this lap, so we will have racing action as we head on to the beginning of end of lap 5 and into lap number 6. Very slow restart here from Rank. Let's see, when does Panda follow him? It's going to be a crucial thing to see when he goes. He can go all the way up to the line. I think Panda, meanwhile, has been caught out by that. Easton is on out to third. Great start for him. Let's see if Easton potentially can make the move. He's a little bit low on fuel here. On the orange for fuel, and here comes Easton coming down towards turn number 1. Panda in a little bit of trouble here, heading down towards turn number 1. Is it going to be move done for Easton down the inside? They're going to be side by side. This is going to cost a little bit of time for Panda to rank here, as he's got a 1.2 second gap. He's going to want to see if he can make the move going in towards Curva Grande, using the battery here as Easton down towards the inside. It's going to be outside for turn the next corner, the end of the first sector. Let's see if he goes for it. He's a little bit wide. Can he go back for the undercut? No, he has not been able to do it. However, that's a great exit from Easton as he come into the Lesmos. He's going to be side by side with Panda as they head through in towards the second Lesmo and down towards the straight in towards the Scotty underneath the bridge. They still go side by side down towards the Scotty, and I think that's going to be, there's ERC Bull as well getting involved in this fight. In towards turn number, the end of second sector, and it is going to be 2 positions lost there for Panda, and ERC Bull being very opportunistic in making his move, and Easton is up to P2 in the meantime as well. Meanwhile, Steele is looking at the back. The next close battle I can see on track at the moment, it looks like it's Easton. It looks like Bull, meanwhile, to come back to, it looks like Bull is going to try and go for a move here on Easton. Once again, as here we go from the broadcast camera outside views, they go side by side round the outside for ERC Bull. Can Easton come back at him as they head down towards that, as Panda is going to make it 3 wide, as almost as they go down towards turn number 1 side by side. He's going to get the position back. There's a little bit of contact between the Alpha Tauri and the Aston Martin. Side by side they go down towards Curva Grande. Very little spaces as they left there. There is a yellow flag for someone, I think that's Steele, who's been spun in turn number 1. So unfortunately from the Mercedes driver, and it looks like Easton has held on to the position from Panda. Now MCL's in this fight as well, and the only Alpine left in this fight, as we're now heading through and towards the Lesmos once again. Easton is looking at the back of Bull. Bull now in P2, but with a massively, well, let's just say probably not pleased Easton that he's managed to be got past him with such an opportunistic move. Let's just see if anything's going to happen in this. Obviously no DRS until, I believe, next time around. I'm not sure, Scar, who caused the crash there. I'll be 100% honest. It looks like it could have been potentially Bruno Lopez spinning, but I don't entirely know. I have to look at that afterwards. As here we go, Easton, bit of a moment there for him. Panda, meanwhile, is going to try and see if he can get himself past, but I think he's going to be patient and wait towards the next straight. As we now head through towards the Ascari. Bluntblade and Nathan swapping position slightly further back. But here comes Easton once again as he tries to go for the inside line here. It's going to be inside line done and dusted here for him on ERC Bull. It looks like Panda is going to have his own pressure from MCL. As MCL's down the inside, is MCL going to go for 2 positions here? It is 3 wide almost as they head into turn number 1. MCL is wise and backs out of it. EXO meanwhile, P6, great start from EXO, all the way up from 18th on the grid. So far for the Red Bull driver, and MCL is going side by side with ERC Bull. Bull using the battery to try and keep himself alongside. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there between the McLaren and the Alpine. The Alpine gets the move done. Panda, meanwhile, is just about still behind at the moment. For the moment in time, with EXO just in behind him, but Bluntblade still recovering from his earlier escapades in this race. A little bit wide from Panda. This is going to allow EXO a chance to go past him here, as Easton now has to get past that massive gap. But here comes Bluntblade on EXO round the outside. He's going to have to get this done the hard way, as EXO is going to use a little bit of the battery here as they head in towards the final part of the second sector. Bluntblade is off the track there, decides not to go for the move. That's going to allow Nathan up a position here into P7 now, and Bluntblade back down a position behind Liam now as well. And here goes Nathan trying to get past well, he's going to think about Exo, but then here comes Liam Ardman. Great move there from Liam in the Alpha Tauri. Nathan is wide. That's going to allow, he's going to lose 2 positions to PDMB and Bluntblade. And it's going to be another move here potentially for Liam here on Exo if he can get close enough. However, PDMB in the Red Bull is going for the move down the inside in the DRS straight with DRS wide open. No battery use left for PDMB. There's going to be a very near contact between the 2 Red Bulls. Well done to those guys for not making any contact. It must have scared Exo there, because Exo was like, what on earth is going on there? As it looks like MCL, meanwhile, he's still in his little battle with Easton up front here, but nothing really happening there at the moment. We're going to go down a little bit further on, we'll see if anything else. There's a lot of trains going on at the moment. We've got Reed here down in P10, who's currently behind Nathan. Of course, Nathan with a little bit of mistake as he came out of Parabolica. And he's having to make up the positions now, 9 laps into this 53 lap Grand Prix, as Shaggy meanwhile got a position change between Rookie and Steel a little bit further back as well. Just missed that unfortunately on stream. Can Rookie come back at Steel here? However, I think it's going to be Pat. We're going to go back to it in a second. That battle is going on up front as Rookie's going to go for the move once again down the inside. Steel's going to hold it around the outside, then Rookie remains in P15 for the moment in time being. Going to go a little bit further up into this particular queue. We've got the likes of, we've got Shaggy thinking about a move on Reed here for P11. Shaggy got the inside line potentially for the next corner. No, he's not going to be quite close enough as of quite yet. As here comes Shaggy using a little bit of the battery here, looking at Reed from the back view of it here. You see the letterbox does open on Reed's car as well, and it's going to be moved on I think for Shaggy in towards turn number 1. Down the inside he goes, except he has to be careful. Reed's boxed in a little bit here, however he's just going to have it. Shaggy though is going to go round the outside as they go in towards the first sequence of corners. Shaggy down the inside. Can Reed come back as he comes around Curva Grande? He's not going to be close enough, and that is move done and dusted. Meanwhile, Exo a little bit further up is still trying to see if he can get himself past, and the battle at the front still rages on between Easton and MCL for second place, the second spot on the podium at this moment in time for between the Alpine and the Alpha Tauri, as it looks like Bluntblade is going to be potentially trying to line up a move soon as well on BDMB. PDMB in a little bit of trouble out of DRS zone, and that's once you get out of that DRS you are in a little bit of trouble here, as it looks like we're going to go back to Easton and see if he can actually get himself a little bit closer. But there is some great battles in the rear of the field as well. It looks like we've got Steel who's trying to line up for Reed here once again. Steel using maybe a little bit of the batteries as they head down towards Ascari. We will go back to the battle at the front in just a second, see if nothing happens here, as we've got the gap at around 0.4 of a second. Panda hanging on with a 1 second, just about 1 second in the zone just behind, as Steel, I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. However, Exo a little bit further up, is he going to try anything on the back of Bluntblade? I think Bluntblade may well thinking about how close he can get to the back of PDMB. Currently Bluntblade in the middle of a Red Bull sandwich here, with Red Bull PDMB in front and Exo behind him at this moment in time. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field you've got Easton, who's looking at the back of MCL still, currently just being frustrated by the Alpine driver, and it's 9.3 seconds. Rank has pulled out a massive gap out front in the Ferrari, and currently, say, every time he goes round, if you look in the crowd, you can see a Tifosi go mad as he goes past the line there. As it looks like PDMB is going to try and go for a move on Bull, as he's going to go right round the outside. ERC Bull is just going to stay behind for now. Much more battery usage for the McLaren driver. As we're heading through, as the McLaren driver will have his second chance to come back at him, but I don't know if he's going to be close enough, as we've had an incident. I think that's Exo who's round at Ascari. Unfortunate for Exo, I'm not sure exactly what happened to Exo, but he is round. Looks like it. Bluntblade meanwhile, as I say, Shaggy is past Nathan for P9. And it looks like we're going to have Bluntblade trying to go for a move here potentially on ERC Bull. And I'm not sure, is he going to be close enough? The letterbox is open on both the McLaren and the Ferrari. Is he going to be close enough to make any kind of a move stick here? Bluntblade trying to get himself as close as possible. He doesn't look like he's got close enough to make any kind of a move on this particular mark. Bluntblade meanwhile, as we're going on board with his perspective of all this, he tries to get himself as close as possible through Curva Grande. He's going to see if he can try and make a move stick here. He's going to go for the inside potentially. Is he going to think about it? No, he does back out of it. Decides it is not a wise idea to go for a move into there. You need to be right alongside the other car for that to actually work in terms of a move. And we've got, as I say, Bluntblade still there, but it looks like Easton, meanwhile, we're going to go back to Easton at the front there. It looks like he's going to be close, but Easton still, as I say, in trouble with fuel, not being able to save much under that virtual safety car. And he's MCL losing time to Rank, who's currently just pulling out the gap, as it looks like we've got a move further back. It looks like Bluntblade's finally made the move. However, Bull is trying to get back at him. Bull's a little bit wide. That's going to cost him position to Eagle, and it's maybe going to cost him position to Shaggy, although Shaggy's a bit too far back. MCL, is MCL managed? Oh, MCL, I thought was being passed there by there, as it looks like I think MCL's made a mistake. I kind of missed that there as Panda's trying to make a move coming in towards turn number 1, as he looks like he's using the battery, whereas Easton is in a little bit of trouble. No DRS for him there, and he loses 2 positions. MCL back into second, Panda back into third. It looks like we also had Blunt, who's also got being passed by Innovative Eagle and towards turn number 1. Bull, as I say, meanwhile, is just behind these two, and the McLaren driver is looking to see if he can try and make a move stick round the outside of Curva Grande on Bluntblade. And I think he may well be able to pull this off if he gets right alongside and he has the inside lane for the next corner. Still side by side between the two drivers, and it looks like the McLaren driver has indeed got it stopped. However, it's going to be a mistake there, and it's going to allow Blunt a chance here. However, Shaggy, very opportunistic, the Mercedes driver, down the inside towards the first of the Lesmos, as it's a little bit of a mistake from ERC. Bull, maybe or not, it could actually be a tactical masterclass of a play here from Bull. It looks like Steele's got past as well, and that's very opportunistic from Steele. Steele is up 2 positions. He's going to go for 3 here as Steele round the inside. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. Nope, he has got 2 though. That is opportunistic from Steele. Down the inside as Bluntblade, whoa, big moment there on the curb, picks up a time penalty for his troubles as well. A bit unfortunate there from the Ferrari driver. Steele, meanwhile, is going to have a go potentially as they head through. Reed and McIntyre, Nathan swapping positions further back. You can see that just in this train as well. Let's see if Steele can get himself past Bluntblade here, and towards turn number 1 the DRS will be enabled on the Mercedes. We've had a position change up front as well. Panda's got past MCL, but Steele has got past Bluntblade here, and it looks like Shaggy is going to try and get himself past as well, but nothing coming of that. It looks like, however, Reed is thinking about a move on Bull as well, but he's not been able to make it stick, and it looks like Bluntblade and Shaggy's got past Bluntblade in towards the first sequence of corners, and it's going to be the 2 Mercedes there up next, who are quite near each other. And meanwhile, up front, MCL has been passed by Panda. The gap is nearly 11 seconds between Rank and Panda here, so the Ferrari driver is doing his utmost best to pull away from the Aston Martin behind it and the ensuing pack, which is having a massive battle at the moment, as I say, including that massive battle. As I say, there Easton is still there as well. He's just sitting in the background, pondering when he is going to make his move stick. And it looks like MCL is going to get a little bit closer, but I don't know if he's going to be close enough, so we're going to go to Innovative Eagle as well. It's a little bit further back, just about in P6 with PDMB, who's currently in a little bit of trouble. No deployment, well, no DRS for PDMB in terms of that. And it looks like we are coming through, and here comes Innovative Eagle. Is he going to be able to do anything here, as he's going to get closer and closer and closer? PDMB, no DRS, is going to be round the outside for Innovative Eagle, and PDMB slots in behind, and it's going to be P5 for Innovative Eagle in the Haas at the moment. And it looks like we've got Shaggy and Steele has swapped positions. This is a massive gaggle of cars behind that is all fighting for positions 7 all the way through to P12, as ERC Bird is side by side with Bull there, as Bull's lost another position, and Reed potentially could be lining up a position on Bull here as well. Down the inside he's thinking about it, but once again thinks much better of it. Nathan meanwhile is in this queue, obviously having already pit, I believe, as there's Steele and Bluntblade. I think we've had an incident, as I think that is Steele who's spun, or he's had an incident and he has been spun all the way back down to P14. Unfortunate there from Steele. It was a great move we saw from him earlier on in the race. However, we're going to go back, we're going to go to Reed, and let's see if Reed, I think Rookie has been passed. As we look back, just saw the edge of that move, down the inside, and it looks like Rookie's into P12. So great move from Rookie down the straight with the DRS deployed. Rookie with almost nothing in the way of battery to deploy. However, we're going to go back up to Easton. It looks like there's been a mistake somewhere. Panda is off in the gravel, I think, at the penultimate corner, Parabolica. And it looks like PDMB and Innova Eagle swap positions as well, while I have been looking at this particular battle that is going on, and it is going to be a move done for him, and it's going to be back up to P4 for PDMB on it, and Innova Eagle. Blunt Blade, meanwhile, is still stuck behind Shaggy at the moment, and Bird, meanwhile, is silently creeping his way up as well. We've got Reed, meanwhile, just a little bit further down, who's currently trying to get himself past ERC Bull in the McLaren. He's fell down a few positions, has ERC Bull, as steals into the pits, obviously, with damage. Hard tyres for the Mercedes driver. Obviously, he had damage on that car. A little bit wide there from Bull. That may well cost him in terms of maybe dropping out of the DRS range of Reed of Bird in front. He's just held on, but he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here as Reed is about to head down and try and go for a move here on the back of him. And then you've also got Rookie, who's making his way through and maybe taking the lead here, as he's on the hard compound tyres. 13 laps those hard tyres have been on that car. He pit on the virtual safety car before the safety car actually came out, I believe. Dead Rookie, as we have, I think it is Blunt Blade looking at the back of Shaggy here for P7. Blunt Blade looking to make a move. However, he does have Bird down his neck as well, so he needs to be somewhat careful of making a move here and trying to see how close he can actually get, as Bird is potentially lining up a move here, as there goes Blunt Blade into the pits after 17 laps on, I think that's on those tyres. He's done 15 on those, so he must have pit for a brand new set, as he's into the pits for probably a set of medium tyres, I would think. Meanwhile, we've got MCL, who's having a look at Easton here. These two are battling themselves into oblivion here, and it looks like it's just not helping them. It's 13.5 seconds nearly between Rank and Easton. Easton, meanwhile, is just really just looking at this thinking, will you hurry up and get on with this, and actually just get on with it so we can try and catch up. But they're not making any efforts to help each other here at all. Meanwhile, Bird, meanwhile, has just fell out of range. We've got Bull again on the back of Rookie. Rookie with no battery at all, as we seen earlier on. The Christmas lights are on in that, Williams, if we're going to go off any particular types of names. As Bull is, meanwhile, going to be passed by Reed here, round the outside, and Reed into what is now P10 in this Grand Prix. Now just behind his teammate. Meanwhile, we've got MCL, who's going to have a go at Easton here, and try and see if he can get himself past. MCL with a lot of battery. Easton with around about the same. Looking back from Easton in the Alpha Tauri, and on to the Alpine of MCL, and it's going to be move done for MCL back into P2, and he now retakes the second spot on the podium for the moment. And looking at it, it's going to be, I think these two are just going to be at loggerheads for most of this race. Reed has lost 2 positions, I believe, as ERC Bull, I believe, has got past both of them here. Nice move there, just caught at the end of that. Rookie license still going side by side with his teammate. However, Nathan thought about being very sneaky there down the inside. It looks like Rookie, meanwhile, is going to try and come back here at ERC Bull. Rookie with almost nothing in the way of battery deployment to actually use here. As Rookie can try and come back. I expect we're going to see ERC Bull in the pits sometime soon, with his tyres being very old at this point. 17 laps on a set of soft tyres. Those are going to be starting to feel the pain a little bit, as here comes Rookie License trying to make a move here down towards the DRS. And is he going to be able to make it? However, we're going to have to potentially cut off that in a second. Let's see if Rookie can make the move here down towards the next straight, and it's going to be moved, done and dusted down the inside. Rookie License into P9. Rookie being, as I say, he's had a little bit, I've always seen he's either does really well or he has some issues here or there, Rookie, but today he seems to be really sort of showing what he can do. As that is the wrong car that I put in there for a second. As meanwhile, ERC Bull is trying to come back at him down the inside, and we're going to go for a second back up to Easton, who's going to try and see how close he can get, and he's not close enough to make a move. A little bit of snaking there from Easton, as he's not able to make anything, and back with Bull, and he's down the inside of Rookie License, and immediately Rookie License, having made that move, is now back down to P10, and then Bull back up to P9. Easton, meanwhile, is currently still looking at the back of MCL. Only one person with a penalty so far, that is Bluntblade, obviously, with a slight unfortunate moment of going over the curb, which is very easy to do, I would say, in that particular matter. License still putting the pressure on the back of MCL here, nearly 20 laps into this Grand Prix. Here at Monza, we've got Easton seeing if he can actually do anything as he heads through. The DRS will be available for him the next straight. However, he's still low on the battery. You can see if you look at the back from the back of MCL, just as close, how close he does actually get as they head down into their rookie and bull swap positions once again, probably down towards Ascari. Through Parabolica they go, and I think Nathan McIntyre spun a little bit further back through the exit of Ascari. Had a moment with the ERC Bull, I believe, so Bull's been in a little bit of trouble there. So it's unfortunate for them as Panda's into the pits after 18 laps on the mediums for him. He's going for another stop, probably into our set of mediums, I would think, for Panda. Down there as he's in 8th place at the moment. No changes there in terms of that. You got PDMB, who has actually put himself into this battle as well, so into Vigo. These guys starting to catch up a little bit in terms of this queue. And we have, I think, another moment. I think there's a lot of cars into the pits. We've got Panda in the pits. We've got Reed into the pits. Liam, I think, is carried on. Yes, he has. X is into the pits for a new set of mediums. Reed's in for a new set of mediums. Soft tyres for Nathan there. Let's see what Bull goes on to. The final runner at the moment in P16. It's going to be hard compound tyres. Innovative Eagle is looking to try and shape up a move here on PDMB as they head down and towards Ascari. Let's see if he can do anything as they head into Ascari. Nope, the exit of it. You need to be careful of the exit of Ascari as well. I think PDMB has had a moment as he has came out of that corner, and that's going to cost him a little bit as here comes Innovative Eagle trying to make a move down the inside. I think he's going to wait until the next zone though, because he knows that PDMB is probably low on battery charge. He's probably seen those Christmas lights flashing in the back of that Red Bull. And I think, is it going to be let's see if Nathan can make the move here. PDMB covering the inside, however, he's left it back open again as here comes Innovative Eagle down the inside. It's going to be moved, done and dusted for Innovative Eagle, and he goes back into P4. However, that has lost him a lot of time. 1.8 seconds is the gap now. Easton half a second between himself there. It's like Bird and Shaggy have gone side by side. Bird has got the position done, however Shaggy is going to try and come back at him. Look back at this from Bird's point of view, trying to use the battery to get himself away from Shaggy. You can see as you look back how close Shaggy is actually going to get. In terms of that, he's going to go round the outside, and it's going to be inside line for the next corner. However, I think Shaggy's backed out of it. They're still side by side. Beautiful moment here between the two, the Mercedes and the Aston Martin. Still side by side as we carry on through the Lesbos, coming on towards the straight just before Ascari. And it's going to be DRS for Shaggy here, but I don't think Shaggy is going to want to make the move here, because obviously you've seen so far, especially with Bull and with Rookie, what happens there is Shaggy is going to go round the outside though. That's a beautiful move from Shaggy. There wasn't much space where he could make the move there, but he has pulled it off. However, Bird is going to come straight back at him. The South African versus the Brit I believe, here in Shaggy. Down the inside, is he going to go in towards there as Innovative Eagles into the pits? As here comes Bird, trying to make the move stick down the inside as he's going to go and use the battery now. Now going on board with Shaggy, got a little bit more battery, and I think Bird is still going to be behind as they go through. I think he's not going to be close enough to make the move here. No, he's not, even with the DRS. He's still not close enough to the back of Shaggy there, and it's going to be Bird who stays behind for the moment. Now we're going to have a look back again, as I say, unless Bird, as I say, wants to try and say have another go here in the same place that Shaggy made the move a lap ago here on himself, but Bird is not going to be close enough. He tries to fake Shaggy out, but Shaggy's having none of it. His years of experience in league racing have taught him not to fall for that particular type of thing. As here comes Bird once again, remaining close at the moment, saving a little bit of his ERS charge to maybe try and use it as they head through. Bird, is he going to stay behind for now with the colours of the South African flag on that helmet, As here comes Bird down the straight, and here we go. Is he going to be close enough to make a move stick here? No, he's not. It's still going to be behind, and I think he's going to get it on DRS this lap because he is close enough, as Shaggy's not going to have anything to really defend with here apart from ERS. Tries to go and move to the side to try and see if he can maybe force Bird to maybe take the inside line there and give him the DRS, but it's not happened, and Bird is still behind. And Bird looking to try and make the move on Shaggy here as they go down the inside. They go down towards the start-finish straight for what is the 23rd time in this race. And here we go. Bird going to make the move down the inside, is he, or is he going to be behind still? It's going to be the outside line if he wants to make it is for Bird, but Bird is not going to remain close enough. Shaggy, good straight line speed even without DRS. As Panda with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 23 dead for the Aston Martin driver, and it's still ERC Bird who's close to the back of that as Blunt as it looks like we got Panda who's got himself past Bluntblade. Meanwhile, in the time, and it looks like Bluntblade is going to try and get himself past the Panda, and the second Aston Martin has passed the second Ferrari of Bluntblade. Bluntblade has also had quite an adventure this time around in this particular occasion in this race so far. Bird and Shaggy still remain close, as well as here is Bluntblade trying to keep as close as he possibly can to Panda, but 3 laps is the difference in the tyres, so it isn't that much between the two drivers. Let's see if anything is going to happen here as they go through it, and I don't think he's going to be close enough. The DRS will get him a little bit closer for Blunt, but I don't think he's going to be close enough to make any kind of a move. Panda is now closing in on the back of Rookie on 20 lap old hard tyres at this point. 2 seconds is the gap between those two at front. Up at the front, sort of near the for 8th place is where Rookie is at the moment. Bluntblade meanwhile is trying to see how close he can get, and you can see that battle just in front, just somewhere in front. You can see that battle that is raging on currently, as well as Bluntblade is still trying to see how close he can get to the back of Panda, as Bird has picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not going to help his cause at all as he tries to undercut Shaggy, so that's not going to help him as such. As here we go, I think Bluntblade's a bit too far back from making a move there at the moment, as Bird has gone onto soft compound tyre, so he will serve that 5-second penalty in this next pit stop, which is going to cost him, and that's going to mean that Shaggy is going to have to respond to him, as it looks like we got Liam who's now up to P10. However, I think we've got Steele as well, who's trying to get himself as close as possible. This is going to be an issue for Bird here. He's going to come out behind both. He's going to be behind both Steele and Exo. Well, Exo is going to be ahead, but Bird is going to be behind both Steele and Exo here. And it looks like he's going to have to make the move stick as soon as possible, because Steele is on 8 lap old hard tyres versus Bird on brand new tyres around the outside. This shouldn't really be too much of a fight here for Steele. And indeed, Bird is immediately through, and now it's the battle of the two owners here, as here comes Bird as he tries to go for a move sometime shortly on Exo here. Brand new softs versus 4 lap old mediums for Exo. What can he do? Can Exo defend his position here? As we look back, he's using the battery to try and keep himself away from Bird here. Bird is not using the battery yet, but does have the DRS. The DRS is probably one of the most powerful things around here to try and see how close you can actually get. And Bird remains behind for now, but he's going to be getting very close as they head through. And I think we're going to have a change of position here. It looks like Shaggy's into the pit, so that's not important there. We've got Bluntblade looking in the back of Rookie license here. There's going to be a change of position here, definitely, as the Williams driver does not have nearly enough to fight back against Bluntblade on fresh tyres. And it's going to be moved, done and dusted on Bluntblade on Rookie license. We've got Shaggy meanwhile, and then we've got Bird. I think Exo's he's probably still under a little bit of pressure from Bird, but Bird has not been able to make anything stick at the moment, and Exo is closing in on the back of Liam Hardman and in the AlphaTauri. So AlphaTauri versus Red Bull versus Aston Martin versus Mercedes. Steele keeping himself in this battle as well, as Easton meanwhile up front as Rank is into the pits. A 19.7 second gap for him as he comes into the pit lane for Rank. And meanwhile, we're going to go back to the battle at the front and see how that is shaping up at this moment in time. Or are we going to stay with Bird? I think we're going to stay with Bird for the moment. Bird meanwhile is going to try and see, oh, it's a bit of a mistake there, and that could potentially allow Steele to get a little bit closer to the back from the Mercedes driver. Is looking to make the move there, as Rank has gone into the hard compound tyre, so potentially only one stopping this race is Rank. You could potentially do that many laps in a set of hard compound tyres, but it's going to be an interesting one to see if they last. As here comes Steele, he's going to try and go down the inside using the battery here. He's determined to try and see if he can get himself past the Aston Martin driver of Bird. where Bird has got to worry a little bit as well, as we've got Exo who's currently looking in the back of Liam Ardman, and I think it's going to be a position gained here for the Red Bull driver around the outside. Liam with nothing to defend against, and now meanwhile we've got Steele who's sort of still sitting behind at the moment, seeing if he can get himself past, and he's not been able to really do all that much as Rank came out in P4 after coming out of the pit lane exit, and that's a very good position for him to be in, because he's now going to be on the freshest tyres out of the top 4, and he's already passed PDMB for a position there, and PDMB didn't really have a lot to fight with there, so we've just caught the end of that, and it looks like Easton meanwhile is just about still hanging on. May will be having to do a little bit of potential fuel saving, is Easton, due to the nature of him being on low fuel mode, or lower fuel than the minimum you'd need for finishing a race here. Maybe thinking there might have been a safety car around here. I mean, sometimes safety cars can come a lot here, but sometimes they do not, and that's kind of a big issue there. As we have Liam trying to see if he can come back at Exo here, using the battery here to get himself close, but the ERC Bird is trying to see how close he can get himself to the back of Liam, as it looks like Easton has closed in a little bit from that last time that I saw it, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything there, as they're going down the main straight, I believe. Not quite, no, actually they're further on than that, as here comes the ERC Bird around the outside trying to keep in line with Exo here, as Shaggy, fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 22.9. However, Liam is coming back at Liam's coming back at Bird here. They go side by side. It's going to be a nice move around the outside, leaving Liam out to dry, and it is going to be 10th place for Bird, but he has to use a lot of the battery to do that. Now Shaggy meanwhile is looking at the back of this, and it's going to be Liam back around the outside. Little bit almost contact there between the two drivers as we head through, as it looks like, oh, Bird was down the inside still, and Bird keeps hold of the position, and we still, oh, and now Liam's going to lose the position here to Shaggy. That is very opportunistic from Shaggy. Is he still going to be side by side, or is he going to decide to back out of it? No, still side by side. The Mercedes driver is still keeping his nose in there, and he's going to get a reward for it, because he's going to be able to get past. Then Steele is also going to get past, and Liam's down to P13, having dropped 5 positions in the space of a lap, round about that. Not ideal there for the AlphaTauri driver, and Steele now trying to close in on his teammate, and the gaps have formed a little bit as Steele meanwhile and Liam still sitting in the distance there. Is now Rank, after just a few laps, is back within range. We haven't even featured Rank here for this time, and it looks like we've had his rookie license into the pits. 25 laps on a set of hard compound tires, probably onto a set of mediums next, I would think, for rookie, as Rank is trying to line up a move here on the front two. These two have been battling, and now there's a third person. Enter player 3, in this case Rank Priest, who is currently trying to see if he can get himself past, trying to fake out Easton there to see if he can actually force him into a stake there, but stays behind for now, as Rookie, as I say, is now back out and around about P14 behind Nathan, as here comes Rank. He's going to probably get past Easton here very easily. Those tires being completely new in comparison, but does opt to wait before going for the move in towards that corner, as here we go down the inside. He's going to be able to make it stick here. It's down. Now we go in towards his Rank. It's going to be one done for him. Now all he has to do is get past MCL, who is still yet to pit as well. And it's going to be, it was Bird and Shaggy, I think, who have swapped positions as well while we were not there on board. However, is Rank going to be able to get himself past? Is this going to be, he's going to use the battery here to try and get himself past. Is MCL going to try and defend his line here? As we go through, he is trying to defend. He's using the battery here a little bit, looking back from the Alpine driver as we head through towards the end of the first sector. Rookie now picks up a time penalty as well, a 3-second for him, as Rank is still all over the back of MCL. MCL, obviously the tyre difference being massively different now come this stage in the race. Lap 29 of 53, coming up to more over half distance now, as here comes Rank down the inside. MCL I don't think is even going to defend this. No, he's not. He just has to be careful from Easton behind, but he's got enough of a gap, and Rank is back into P1 and it can now sail off into the distance in the Ferrari, and can once again send the Tifosi into absolute chaos here, And there we go, there's must be getting some heat into tyres there, interesting. Meanwhile, so that's that done and dusted for now. We'll have to see if MCL can keep within range, but he is already pulling away from MCL, using the battery to maybe see if he can get himself away. And Easton, meanwhile, the gaps in the top three all remain around about the same. So we're going to go back to the battle with Bird and Shaggy at the moment, which is for P9 at the moment. Shaggy holding on to that P9 position from Bird, both on the soft compound tyres. As MCL, I think there's been a little bit there as Easton's picking up a time penalty. I think he's ran across there. I'm not exactly seeing what's happened, but I think something has happened there. Between the front two there, I think he's made a little bit of a mistake and got himself a 3-second penalty for running across turn 1. As now, looks like Bird is going to try and have a go at Shaggy here. Let's see how close he can get to the back of the Mercedes here. Bird, meanwhile, still on board with this battle. Bird is remaining close at the moment, and I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything at the moment. The battle, this is going to say the remaining battle on track is only this one at the moment. As MCL's also picked up a time penalty now, so it's 2 time penalties between the top 3. Bird, meanwhile, is trying to see how close he can actually get to the back of Shaggy. Shaggy is just holding his position at the moment behind well, EXO, 2.6 seconds. EXO has gone in this battle, and EXO is now trying to see how close he can get to the back of Bluntblade. Not much ground has been made up there yet as of such. As here comes, as I say, Bird is still trying to see how close he can get, but I think he's not going to be quite close enough yet to see if he can actually do anything as of quite yet, but still will be within the DRS range and can potentially save a little bit of his battery, which there isn't much of it on Bird's car, let's be honest, in terms of battery deployment. And Bird, say Shaggy, probably having to use a fair bit of his deployment to try and see if he can get himself close enough. Bird using a little bit briefly as he came out of the final corner. However, the Aston Martin driver is not going to be near close enough to potentially make a move stick here, as Bird is not going to be. He's going to try and see how close he can get. It's going to be less than half a second when he gets in towards turn number 1, but it's not going to be quite close enough. And Bird remains behind for now, but he's going to see how close he can get as he comes out of this particular corner here, using potentially a little bit of the battery to see how close he can get. Is Shaggy using the battery? No, he's not, although there is that constant presence of that Aston Martin in the rear view mirror, just constantly reminding him, saying, I am here and I will take advantage if you make a mistake at any point. It's very much like the typical Italian thing, even though neither of these drivers are Italian. If you make a mistake, I kill, where you make any kind of mistake and I will take advantage of it. As Easton and MCL remain close, 5.2 seconds. Rank has already pulled out on MCL, a massive gap already for Rank in the Ferrari. I mean, Bluntblade will be wishing he had the same luck as his teammate to begin with. He was involved in all the things that happened in the initial laps. As we're going to go up to Easton and see if he can. Easton was not close enough to make the move, so we're going to go back to Bird, as Bull is now picked up a time penalty. Lap 32 of 53 in this round 6 here at the ERC at the Masters portion of the championship. ERC Bird trying to still make the move here. He's still not remaining quite close enough. However, it's the closest he's got for a couple of laps now, but not able to get anywhere near being able to make a move stick. As here comes once again Bird trying to see how close he can get. 0.4 of a second is the gap, which disappears just under 3.5 as they head down through the Curva Grande, and into the first sector and into the Lesmos. The gap remains exactly the same though between the two drivers. It's kind of stagnant at the moment. These two, it's a stalemate to a point. These two are close, but it seems like Bird cannot quite make any ground on the back of him here. As we still have Bird trying to see how close he can get. He's still trying it, but he's still not quite getting anywhere near at the moment in terms of trying to get as close as possible. However, I think there might have been a small mistake there as PDMB opts for the pit lane this lap around after 28 laps on those tyres. And here goes, I think Bird is going to definitely make a move here because of how close he actually is going to be. in towards turn number 1. Let's see, it's a little bit wide from Shaggy. Might will be a warning there from the Mercedes driver. However, Bird was not able to do all that much with it really, because he wasn't quite close enough to make any kind of move stick. It's a bit unfortunate there for him. Meanwhile, not really much else at the moment. It's just kind of this battle here. We've got PDMB, who's just come out of the pits on a set of soft compound tyres, against Liam, who's on a set of 23 lap old mediums. I mean, this shouldn't be too much of a fight here for PDMB, and he's looking to try and see how close he can get as they head through. And it's going to be PDMB who makes the move, and down the inside he goes. And PDMB, no, he wasn't. I thought he was down the inside there. He actually backed out of it. He should actually get this done, I would think, on this particular run. Meanwhile, Bird still remains right on the back of Shaggy and is not really getting any sort of nearer to, well, he could end up having the thing known as Shaggy syndrome really, but he can't get close enough as PDMB around the outside, and that is move done and dusted. Easton into the pits, 33 laps on those tyres, probably going for the hards on a one stop. Most likely is Easton, I would think, as PDMB is now clear of Liam. Now we're going to go back to Bird and see if Bird is getting on, trying to get himself past. He's closest he's ever going to be yet. Let's see if he can make it stick. As I say, Shaggy feeling the need to potentially go defensive this time, unless he's just using the battery. Bird thinking about the inside, but once again, Bird is still not close enough. He still can't make it stick, which is real unfortunate, as he's now been stuck behind him for I think a good 6 to 8 laps now, has Bird, and he's been unable to make any real input as such. As meanwhile, we've got PDMB who's made the move on Steel just behind, carving through. He's about to come into this battle actually between Bird and Shaggy. I mean, if this is any incentive, this is going to be an incentive for Shaggy now to get the Shaggy, well not Shaggy, but Bird to try and get this move done, because now Bird is going to have pressure from a car on much fresher tyres behind him, and he's going to have to worry about the fact of that particular matter. As here goes Bird trying to see how close he can actually get. As we head through, MCL is on to the softs. That's an interesting one from him. As I say, Easton's also gone to the softs actually. Rank is actually on the hards, so I'd imagine obviously Rank will be going to the end of this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Bird here, still on board with, is still trying to get himself past Shaggy. He's saved up a lot of battery now by this point, so at some point he's probably going to want to make a move stick, because the amount of time he's now been stuck behind him for, but he's still stuck behind him and he still can't clear him, and it's another lap 35 now of 53. Getting the amount of laps you have if you just switch the old numbers around, as Steel meanwhile still keeping himself on the back of PDMB. However, he's losing a little bit of ground, as it looks like MCL and Easton are trying to make a move a little bit further up on EXO, who's currently got those two for company, both on fresh tyres obviously. EXO's going to have to do a lot of work here to keep them both behind, but I don't know how much this is really going to be possible for EXO here to really keep them behind. And there goes the first of the two cars. Let's see, it's going to be crucial for Easton to see if he can pass as soon as possible as well, because he does not want to be stuck behind EXO for any length of time here, with EXO obviously being on 15 lap old mediums and most likely going to be stopping again, I would think. Here goes Easton down the inside. That's before DRS is even enabled, and now you can just have the DRS as an added extra really. Here we go, and Easton with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 22.6, the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. So, lap 36, as Bird meanwhile, I think he's finally just caught it right as it happens. Bird has finally got himself past Shaggy. And that was a long time coming for Bird, because Bird was really struggling to get past the Mercedes driver. Now he wants to pull away from Shaggy as fast as he physically can. Liam and 13th is in the pits. He's putting on the soft compound tyres, and he will drop down to around about P15. way clear of ERC Bull, who's not had the greatest of races considering everything that has happened to him. And meanwhile, these two will still remain close on the track because these two have been like two peas in a pod. They have been inseparable, really, for most of this race. As once again, you can see PDMB in the background there, just lurking there, getting closer and closer. Is PDMB having lost a little bit of ground there? Must have made a mistake coming out of the corner there. Maybe the DRS, that's what the effect of the DRS is there. Easton and MCL still remain close as well, now in P5 and P6. And those guys will have to work their way through. As Panda is into the pits again as well. He's going to probably go on to another set of mediums, I would think, as MCL with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. A 121.8 from MCL. MCL, as I say, is trying to keep himself away from Easton at the moment. As once again, here comes Shaggy. Let's see if Shaggy can get himself past. As they head in towards turn number 1, and the amount of time that it took Bird to get past Shaggy, and Shaggy's about to, I thought he was about to immediately repass, but that's now just allowed PDMB to catch back up a little bit, and it's going to slow him down, as here comes Shaggy trying to make the move down the inside. However, he's then going to go for the outside, as we have a yellow flag. That is going to be Bull, who's had an issue coming out of Ascari, so I wonder if that will cause anything, like say potentially a safety car or a VSC. I think Bull has got it going again. So there is going to be no safety cars. Here comes Shaggy once again, trying to make a move down the inside as MCL and Blunt Blade swap positions a little bit further up. And it's an easy move there from MCL. Blunt Blade obviously, there's Easton with an hour time penalty, so that's unfortunate for him. He's now in 6 seconds, the most in the field at the moment. And he really needs to be careful of that, as here comes Shaggy round the outside, and he makes the move once again, but now this is just going to allow... Is the wrong car, as they're just going to allow Bird now to try and see how close he can get, and now PDMB is also involved in this, as it looks like Easton now has also now got himself past. This Blunt Blade goes into the pits on 20 lap old mediums, and he's going to go down a few positions as a result. And PDMB, I think, is about to make the move down the inside and towards turn number 1. That is just move done and dusted for PDMB. Whereas PDM, let's see if we can get on board with that, is see if he's going to go, PDMB is going to go for 2 here, and it's going to be a double move here for PDMB, down the inside. The fresher tyres doing a great job here for PDMB, and he's up to P6 just behind his teammate. So great move there. Meanwhile, Bird still stuck behind Shaggy once again. He's getting the old case of Shaggy syndrome himself here, considering how long he has been stuck behind Shaggy at points from in this race. Meanwhile, Bird though, he's got a good run coming out towards the Lesmo, so he could potentially have a run here at it, but he's not been able to really do so with this run. However, he's going to be close coming into the second Lesmo in the first DRS zone in this straight, or first DRS zone on this track, and he's going to see if he can potentially make any moves stick here, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. Half a second is the gap between Bird and Shaggy. And Shaggy, meanwhile, has actually stuck with PDMB, so bearing in mind the lap differences between Shaggy's tyres and PDMB's tyres, not bad that Shaggy is still there in all things. Meanwhile, as I say, Shaggy he's still going to be close. He's about 8/10 of a second back. He's actually just dropped out of a second. They're both going to go into the pits actually, as Shaggy and Bird, so they both opted to go in at the same time, so another set of soft compound tyres for those guys. Be interesting to see how that one shapes up, but we're going to go back to Easton at the moment, who's currently still stuck behind MCL. These two have been pretty much, again, another pair for pretty much the entirety of this race, because they've been inseparable for the most part. Never more than a second for most of this Grand Prix. These two, and Easton's still in trouble with fuel from the looks of it. Try and get himself as close as possible. He has just got himself back in the DRS range. But MCL, meanwhile, is just... he's on more battery than what Easton is. Easton is pushing like mad to try and see if he can get himself back within a second, or back within the range where he can potentially make a move stick. As MCL, with about 36%, using a little bit himself now to get himself away, try and break the DRS of Easton. And I think he has done it before the DRS detection, so MCL will hold on to P3 very comfortably. As Innovative Eagle is into the pits from P2, so he'll drop down a position. I'll be interested to see if Rank comes in again, or if Rank's going to go to the end of this Grand Prix on those hard compound tyres. 14 laps on those so far. 28.7 seconds is the gap between MCL and Rank Prix. So we'll have to see how that one shapes up. But EXO has got past into Eagle as well as those into the pits. So while we're looking at that, we'll have a quick old look at the movements. That's your penalty situation right there as well. Your position changes. Your biggest winner is MCL and EXO, who are currently up 13 and 14 respectively. Then your next one up is Rookie License, up 4, and then it's up 2 for both Nathan Reed. Well, Easton's up 6 himself, and then PDMB is also up 2. Your biggest loser, as I say, I think is Bluntblade potentially, who's down 7, alongside Liam, who's also down 7, with Innovative Eagle, Panda, Shaggy and Bird either down 5 or down 5, 4 and down 3. ERC Bulls, as I say, not had fun either really in this race. Consider all things that have happened there, as we have a yellow once again in the Lesmo. So I think someone has had an incident. I think that was Bluntblade who's had an incident coming into there. Yes, it was. He's had a little bit of a moment, but he's going to come straight back at Steel, who is immediately going to lose the position once again to Bluntblade here, and Steel is back down to P9. Looking at the stops, we have Innovative Eagles on a 4 stop, so 4 stop and 3 stop for PDMB. Interesting strategy for them. It's only 1 stop between the top 3 or top 4. 2 stops. There's a range of strategies here. That's what I do like about 100% race distances. What you can actually have. I do expect X will come in sometime soon, potentially, for another set of potentially mediums. This looks at Innovative Eagle and PDMB. That's PDMB up position from Innovative Eagle, and PDMB or Innovative Eagle's up position. PDMB rather. And PDMB is going to look to try and come back at him, but it looks like Innovative Eagle on fresher tyres is going to pull away from the Red Bull driver. He now splits the Red Bull driver at 4-5, with now in between EXO, who's currently 8 seconds ahead, and PDMB, who's now around about 1 second behind for that. Well, a little bit further down as well, you've got Shaggy looking at Rookie License here, and here comes Liam, and they're trying to see about making the moves. Shaggy goes round the outside of Rookie License. Not really much a Rookie's going to be able to do here, I don't think. Nope, Rookie has decided to back out of it, considering his tyre age, but a little bit wide there from Shaggy, or it looks like he was a little bit wide as he came out of the corner, and he's been able to make it stick to a point. And it remains the same, and now Rookie is going to have pressure from Liam, who's trying to go round the inside. Very shallow line there from Liam, but he's going to get the position done. But it has cost him time to Shaggy, he's now outside of 1 second. Innovative Eagle 120.9, fastest lap in the Grand Prix from the Haas driver. And now I think Rookie Licenses, he's still close, but he's going to struggle, as I say, to keep up with these guys. Now the actual thing is actually what the Bird is coming. I think Bird served the 5-second penalty, that's why he's so far down, having served that in his pit stop. Liam, meanwhile, is still trying to say this is a 3-way battle now between, say, the battle between Shaggy, Hard, Liam, and Rookie. Rookie just about holding on to it. Panda, meanwhile, is once again looking at the back of PDMB for P6. PDMB, as I say, he looks like he's struggling a little bit now on those tyres, and he's got about 10, 11 laps left in this Grand Prix left to go, as Panda is looking to try and see if he can try and get himself past. And let's see what he can do, as Panda is seeing about trying to see how close he can get. Is he going to go for the move here, or is he going to wait? I think he is going to wait. Wise choice there by Panda, going for the DRS potentially, or wanting to make the move here and towards Parabolica, as we now go down towards the final corner Parabolica now. Panda, meanwhile, 205 miles an hour as he heads down through the final corner. And let's see, you'll probably be topping out around about 220, just under 220 miles an hour with DRS deployed here. And here we go, this is going to be taking candy from a baby here for Panda. And here he goes down the inside, 212, 13 miles an hour, not quite as much as I thought, but he's still got the move done and dusted, and that is Panda up to P6. And it looks like, however, PDMB could potentially try and come back at him, because there was a mistake from Panda as he came out of the first few corners. You do need to get that sequence right, otherwise if you do make any mistakes it does punish you. As here we go, we've got him potentially thinking about it at PDMB, but he was not close enough to make any kind of move stick there. As further down the field, we also have, I believe, we also have Liam trying to see if he can line up a move on the back of Shaggy, but the gap's a little bit bigger than he would want to be at the moment. And these two, as I say, Liam trying to see how close he can get to the back of ERC Shaggy, and Shaggy holding on to that position as he quite well, with Liam just about hanging on here. And it looks like once again we're going to go back to PDMB as he's keeping up within distance of Panda here within half a second. The gap was 2 tenths at its lowest there. As see PDMB, is he going to be able to get a little bit closer to the back of Panda here? And is he going to get... I wonder if I think he's within range to go for a move here with the DRS, but he may have to use a little bit of the battery here, as PDMB is indeed using his ERS deployment to try and get himself as close as possible. Let's see what he can do. Is he going to be close enough into the slipstream of the Aston Martin? Panda goes defensive. He knows he can see the red bullets round the outside. Panda has the inside. It looks like PDMB. Can he try the old switchback? He's not going to be close enough, and a little bit of wayward motion from the rear and loss of traction from the rear there from PDMB means that he's still stuck behind at this moment in time. And Panda remains ahead for the time being. Well, Liam is a little bit further back, is thinking about a move as well on the back of Shaggy. Shaggy's had absolutely no peace for a lot of this Grand Prix today. He's pretty much spent most of his time defending, really. As Shaggy's had a few moments of greatness here with some of the opportunistic moves he's made in these earlier laps. But it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be still the same running order there, as Innovative Eagle now picks up another time penalty. I believe he's on 6 seconds now, is Innovative Eagle. And meanwhile, Liam still remaining close to the back of Shaggy, looking to see if he can try and get past the AlphaTauri versus the Mercedes, who will come out on top as they head through. I think it's going to be, I wonder if Liam's going to go for the move here, or if he's going to wait for the next DRS zone, which will be after Parabolica. He wants to get himself as close as possible, but remain close as possible, but not to lose too much downforce and gain more tyre from being in the dirty air for too long. Is the AlphaTauri driver. The AlphaTauri driver remaining close as Liam tries to go. He's plotting he's waiting to make his move. As we now head through, as Liam is going to go for it into this particular straight. Most likely looking how close he is. He's not using the battery as of yet. Let's see if Shaggy is using his battery. He has not used it as such, and Liam has not used his battery either, which means he's still not quite close enough. Well, a little bit further up, you got PDMB, who's still currently being harassed by the rear of Panda. I think he's got past Panda since we've last seen that. And here comes Panda once again having a look at PDMB and seeing if he can try and get himself past. Panda going to go round the outside as we go in towards Ascari. It's going to be it's going to be crucial if he can make this work. He has to be clear, and he is indeed clear. Round the outside is Panda. He has picked up a time penalty though. I think that's 6 seconds for him. Not sure though. Nope, it's only 3 seconds for him, and it was only 3 seconds for Eagle, I believe. Yes, it was only 3 seconds for Eagle rather than 6 seconds, I said earlier on. As PDMB now is in a great position now to just take the position back at the end of this race. Lap 46 of 53. This race distance has absolutely flown by, known to the fact of how short the lap times are around here. So here comes PDMB once again. It's not going to be covered the inside by Panda at all, as they go side by side in towards turn number 1 and turn number 2, and Panda once again is passed by PDMB as we have a yellow flag in the final sector. I think that we have an AlphaTauri. I think that's an AlphaTauri or an Aston Martin that's had an incident down at the Parabolica. I think that is just a half spin for whoever that was, as Panda now is looking to try and get himself back past again. A little bit of hesitation there from PDMB as he came off that corner. Obviously those tyres being slightly older, Panda his tyres slightly younger. It's not really planned out for Panda as he's not been able to really get himself away from PDMB. And once you get stuck into a DRS train with a car following you and just using DRS, there's no way of getting away from it because of how powerful the battery, the DRS is around here. As here we go once again, down the inside goes Panda. No, he's thinking about it, but that is a very tight line if you do go into it, and it does compromise you as you come out of that particular corner. And here comes Panda once again. He's going to try and, is he going to try and send it around the outside? He's getting towards Parabolica once again. Is he going to try anything? I think he's not going to be quite close enough. However, I think we've got a move just in front. We've got, I think, Innovative Eagle looking at the back of Exo here. Exo still on those 27 lap old mediums. Innovative Eagle 8 lap old softs. And it's going to be move done for into Eagle, who's up to P4, but Exo with no penalties. Panda, meanwhile, has got past once again PDMB, and he's got that move done and dusted once again. PDMB back into 7th, back down to 7th, and Panda back into 6th once again. And Exo, I think he could potentially stay close if he manages to use, well, obviously his tyres are very worn at this stage of the Grand Prix, but he might be able to keep himself within range still of the back of Innovative Eagle, but he's going to obviously be struggling a little bit with tyre wear come this point in the race, as we've got around about 6 laps left in this Grand Prix, and we're really starting to ramp down towards the crescendo that is the end of this race now. So we're gonna have to see who will see that in the remaining battles who will come out on top. As Bird is now behind Liam, and once again potentially, as I say, he's gone now. Shaggy is gone now from Liam, so now Bird is going to be fighting for P11 at this moment in time, trying to see how close he can get to seeing if he can get P11 off of Liam, and trying to see what he can do as he heads through. Obviously Bird is a little bit smarter about this. He will probably wait for this next DRS zone, I would think. So you'll be waiting here and then seeing how close you can get to the back of Liam. Wonder if Liam will try and play any games here as they head through towards the Parabolica for what will be the 48th time in this Grand Prix. And it's good to see how close can Bird get to the back of the back of Liam in the Alpha Tauri. Is he gonna? I think Liam may will use the battery a little bit here. No, he's not. Bird using his battery though to see how close he can get. This is going to be P11, I think. Move done, signed and delivered by ERC Bird, and it's now up to P11 for him. Liam down to P12. PDMB, remember, is still on the back here of Panda, and then we also have Innovative Eagle, who's seeing if he can potentially make a move on brand new softs on what can only be said is probably the weirdest strategy in this field today, 4-stop for Innovative Eagle. And he's 0.3 of a second, and he's gaining time. Exo, meanwhile, is still remaining within time at the moment because these two will not want to overtake in certain places, or Innovative Eagle won't want to overtake in certain places. And now here comes Innovative Eagle on the back of Easton. He's going to have to go around the outside a little bit on the grass there for Innovative Eagle, and it's going to be moved done. And Easton is still in trouble with fuel, which could start plaguing him as an issue. The gap at the front, meanwhile, has barely moved. It is still around about 25 seconds. Rank almost got his gap back up to where it was. As I say, looking like, as I say, he's pulled out a masterclass, as I say, from this race so far, knowing to everything that has been going on. Meanwhile, PDMB, meanwhile, is still looking at the back of Panda. These two have swapped positions multiple times, and it's like, anything you can do, I can do better, sort of thing. As we head through the first sector with PDMB still chasing after Panda here in the Aston Martin. So Aston Martin versus Red Bull. This battle has been going on since Panda got past PDMB all those laps ago now. As we've got 4 laps left in this Grand Prix. Lap 50 of 53. The race has absolutely flown by. Steel, the oldest tyres in the field, down in P9. 33 laps on those tyres. Well done, as I say, for getting those that far. As I say, those are durable tyres, as I say. As here we go with PDMB once again thinking about seeing how close he can get. However, I think Easton is going to see if he can actually get past as they go round the final corner. And I don't know if he's going to be anywhere near. I think he has to short shift now because he's having a little bit of trouble here. Although he's not going to be close enough to really make any kind of a dent there. So we're going to go back, as I say, unless anything does happen here, and it's not going to be the case as Easton is still in P4 with Innovative Eagle still P3. Meanwhile, PDMB is still just behind Panda. Those two still in close in that battle for what is P6 at the moment. And then we have Liam, who's trying to look at the back of Bird down towards the final corner, and the Alpha Tauri driver is looking at the back of the Aston Martin and saying, I want this position and I'm going to take this whether you like it or not here. As here comes Liam. Bird with absolutely no battery whatsoever. You can see by the Christmas tree flashing light on the back of his car, there's not much space there. That is a Fernando Alonso Rosberg squeeze there. Or Rosberg and Fernando Alonso squeeze. Whoa, little bit of contact. He does let him stay ahead. Fair play to him, but now he's going to try and make the move stick as Bird goes past. There was a little bit of contact there and a little bit of squeezing. So, I'm like, that was almost a good old squeeze from earlier years of actual F1, as I say. And Liam's back down the inside and he takes hold of the position once again. As Nathan, a rookie license, has gone into the pits once again, potentially to try and get fast slap at the Grand Prix for the Williams driver. And ERC Bird is back down to P12, and I wonder if he potentially picked up some damage in that contact with Liam there. However, he's immediately coming back at him. He's thinking about it and does downshift and then goes back into 8th again to lose a little bit of momentum, to assume that he does not go back through. As here we're going to go back up to the front at the moment and see if anything happens there, as Easton is still stuck behind Innovative Eagle at the moment. PDMB, let's see if anything is going on with that particular battle, as PDMB is still close, but he's not been able to make anything really happen there. He gets close as they come into the first sector split, but not close enough as they head into the Lesmos. And I think Bird is maybe going to go for a move here down the inside. Indeed he is. Bird is back into P11, Liam back down to P12. This battle still rages on. Bird, as I say, also has had no peace for most of this race as well, considering what he's been doing for a lot of this. As once again we're going to have Liam trying to see if he can get past down towards Curva Grande, but he's not going to be alongside, so he's not going to be able to make anything stick there. And it remains the same through the first sector split between those two, as we are on to the penultimate lap in this Grand Prix. Lap 52 of 53, Rank will be coming around to start that lap sometime soon. I believe that is him down at the final corner. About to start on that final lap is Rank. And here comes Liam once again. Meanwhile, on the back of Bird, he's seen how close he can get to the back of him. And it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. And Liam once again staying behind at the moment, as the AlphaTauri driver not close enough quite to make a move, but he is in the wheel tracks of the Aston Martin driver of Bird, and he's going to see how close he can actually get to making the move stick, as Bird is going to be looking in his mirrors as they come on to probably what is that final lap of the Grand Prix. I believe the leader is in the second sector at the moment, still on the penultimate lap, so he will be looking to see when he will be finishing this race, because he will be finishing this race in style. As Liam, meanwhile, you can see that Christmas tree flashing light on the back of Bird's car, telling him that he does not have much ERS to deploy, as Rookie and Reed swap positions as they go side by side. This could be interesting, as the it's a little bit wide as from Rookie. Can Reed come back at him potentially? As here we go, as we're on to the final lap now. Let's see if anything does happen here. I don't think it is going to be the case. Liam, meanwhile, is still behind at the moment. But we're going to go up to the front at the moment, because I think, nope, he's in the third sector. He's actually behind these battling pair at this moment in time. As they've got a yellow flag, I believe that is Reed, who's had an incident at the first two corners, in between the first two corners. And he is, I think, had a half spin there for himself, as Liam still behind at the moment. This is the final lap for those guys as they come round to complete the race. That's the Ferrari in the background, who is the leader, who is coming around to finish the race. That is going to be Rank, who is coming around to complete what has been one hell of a dominant drive from him. He's only lost the lead once in this race, and that was when he was in the pit lane. That is the only time he's lost this race lead. But Rank is coming around. This is going to be a win, and the Tifosi are going to be absolutely mad for that, considering everything that has happened there. MCL, I think, is going to bring himself home in P2. What a good drive from MCL with Innovative Eagle. The gaps in the top four were massive, considering everything else. And here he comes around the final corner, as he's going to let him go through, and there goes MCL going across the line. It's going to be Innovative Eagle who's going to come home to take P3 on the road, and he's going to be ahead of Easton, because I think Easton is going to lose out. He's going to lose out in P4, I think, to EXO here, who's going to be up a position. I do think, yes, EXO does jump up a position. Panda finishes P6 in his quest against PDMB, who finishes P7, but he does drop behind Panda does drop behind on penalties. Bluntblade finishes in P8 after the adventure he had. I think that's an okay ride for him. And it looks like we have a Bird and Liam, who will swap positions on this penultimate lap, or this final lap, and Liam, I think, is going to finish behind as Steele finishes in P9. Shaggy is going to come bring it home in P10. Bird and Liam are going to be your final two finishers to come round. Who is it going to be? The battery is going to be used. Is it going to be a photo finish between these two drivers as they come up to the line? It is going to be Bird who takes the position, and Liam finishes just behind him in 12th place. Driver of the day goes to EXO. That's the James driver of the day, but my driver of the day is going to go to Ranked. Great drive from him. Managed the pace very well, and it is going to be Ranked who is our race winner and driver of the day. Congratulations to the Ferrari driver on driver of the day, and he wins the race. Not quite, as I say, I don't think he got quite the full sweep, but that's not going to quite matter to him, because victory here in front of the Tifosi, I think, is something that is entirely worth it, as we say. And then obviously it was Innovative Eagle in P2. Well, it was Innovative Eagle MCL P2 and Innovative Eagle P3. Congratulations to all of the podium finishers. And yeah, so that race went very quickly in terms of results. So your results for this from the Grand Prix: it is Rank who won from pole position, MCL P15 to P1. He was in there close. Him and EXO were close in terms of driver of the day awards in that front, but MCL will finish P2 and at Eagle P3 rounds off the podium with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. EXO in P4, great drive from him. Easton P5, he would have expected maybe a little bit better, penalties let him down in the end. PDMB P6, Slot Panda in P7, Bluntblade in P8, Steel and Shaggy round out the top 10. ERC Bird, Liam Hardman, Rookie License, Nathan, Reed and Bull round off your finishers, and then it was Bruno Lopez and Scar with that unfortunate lap 2 incident which caused the only safety car in this race. So, thank you very much. We'll be back to business as usual by the time for next round. We will be back on the main channel. It was just on this round, just for this round we had this little moment, as we say. But we will be, for the next round of the Masters, we will be, round 7 will be at Singapore. Big challenge for the drivers, even with the new layout, one of the longest races of the season. So we look forward to seeing, we'll be back on the main channel for that on Sunday this time next week. So thank you everyone who tuned in. Hopefully you all have a great evening / night, and we will see you next week for Singapore in ERC and the managers and the 100 as well, so that'll be an interesting one. So yeah, we're going to round off there, and it is goodbye from me.